Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marnise Nicole and I'm an acrylic painter, and today I wanted to sit down and make a video, and I have this project in the works that I'm going to be talking about more next week. It's something to do with an art retreat. I don't want to say anything more than that, but in planning for this project I was like, I think I want to start a new sketchbook, and I was thinking maybe I could finish old sketchbook. And then I thought about it. I was like, no, those sketchbooks are basically abandoned. They haven't been worked in at all since maybe the middle of 2018. And I was like, well, where are these abandoned sketchbooks? So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna find these abandoned sketchbooks and then I'm gonna show them off, and kind of I want to sit down and analyze them because I want to analyze something positive. So this is one of them. I'm going to go through one of my sketchbooks that I've had abandoned. I'm going to talk about them, and I'm also going to have a flip through of them. If you don't want to see the kind of me going through them, wondering what I was thinking, analyzing these in depth, definitely skip ahead to this right here. Actually, I'll put it down here. Skip to this time note and you can just see the sketchbook flip through. But first, we're going to talk about these books. So let's just jump into that. So I have 3 abandoned sketchbooks. I'll talk about the other 2 in part 2. I believe I started this one first. This is a Canson mixed media sketchbook. I prefer Canson. I love Canson. This one I believe was started in 2016. I have some dates here. Maybe. No, 2017 this had to be. First date on here would have been 9/10/17. So let's flip through this and talk about it. This sketchbook, if I remember correctly, I just kind of did a little bit of everything. 2017 was my second year doing art, and this was done with actually something from Art Snacks. It was like watercolor pencils, I believe. Just testing out the first page, doing a little something. I didn't really know how to draw well at this time, so there's that. And this was my first Art Snacks challenge. You'll notice throughout my paintings, I love to paint kind of these royal ladies. I love painting sadness for some reason. I kind of swatched all of the artists, products. A lot of this going through the sketchbook is gonna get me ideas and something I can create now. So there's that. Oh gosh. This was something I did. I remember fondly doing this. I had seen some buoys in the ocean, and I just wanted to get home from the beach and just get that idea out of my head. So I just grabbed 3 or 4 colors and just kind of went at it. But it looks so messy now. But I'm glad that I kind of remembered the scene enough to create even this. I had been interested in doing water scenes, and the buoys to me just were like how vibrant red they were against this very blue background. It was really like intriguing to me. So I remember that. That's fun. Oh, look guys. So I was very into acrylic ink. I still am, although I don't grab it as much as I used to. A lot of times what I would do is to loosen up and just like, well, what could you make if you made a mess? I really need to start doing that again because I love this. This is really nice. So what I did was just put down a bunch of like messy ink swatches and unused swatches and colors down and whatever, and then I went back to see what I could make of it, and this is what it ended up like. This is another Art Snacks page. This was in October. Oh, this is fun. Again, I was trying to create a mess, so I would throw leftover paint onto a sketchbook page and then later go back and try to make this into something. I think this comes out very vibrant in form though. It definitely stands out on camera to me. I don't know. I really like this too. Why did I stop doing this messy mess stuff? Oh, here's another one. So there's a girl outlined here. She's wearing a big hefty collar. I've always loved fashion, and so I kind of put fashion elements where I can. But here you go. What else is in here? Oh, this was the first time I got some markers, Prismacolor markers, and I just wanted to try those out. So those are the swatches I use, and here's the girl. Another one of those messy messes. And unfinished art snacks. I didn't actually like this month. What month was this? This was now skipping over to December of 2017. All right, let's see. Oh, this is the first time I used gouache, guys. I had seen this scene and I was in a very landscape mood, and so I had picked up a gouache set, and it was the Winsor and Newton intro set, so it just had 5 colors, but just wanted to play around with it. I never really practiced enough with gouache, and I think the next few of these are all going to be gouache. Yeah, this is gouache. I never really got into the medium, but you know. Now this concept was something I wanted to paint. I never did, but it was the concept of, here's my shadow following me, you know, trying to look forward, but she's dragging behind her this shadow. And so this was the initial concept sketch for it, for something that just never was initiated well or, you know, sought out more. But the girl herself is of course in gouache, and then pencil sketch behind her, more gouache. And actually, I had company and some kids over, nieces and nephews and whatever, and I gave them my sketchbook to kind of play with. You'll see later on that they didn't stick to the blank pages at all, and so we have these little mishaps, but I actually kind of like it. So, and it's a fun memory to have. Oh, this is nice. So I did a holiday art challenge, marker illustration, with a good friend of mine, and so we both did like holiday themed, like just black love art. So that was cool. They're under the mistletoe, and so we have this one. And then I went a little further and also made these 4 gouache watercolory looking ones. And so we have him presenting a gift under the mistletoe, them just being under the mistletoe, more mistletoes, and then yeah, I had intended to make like Christmas cards with these, but I never got there. But I do like the spread. It's just so nice. Just kissing, 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 kissing. These are what happened with sketchbook pages, you guys. Sometimes you just do a blah and keep it moving. Oh, I know this one. Okay, so this is Cardi B. It's supposed to be Cardi B. Her album cover, Bartier Cardi, the single cover. I tried to kind of replicate that. If you don't know anything about me, I love R&B music. I love just hip hop culture, and you know what? That's what I grew up with. Okay. This is what I listened to. So Cardi B came out. I absolutely love the single. I love the album. I wish she would come out with more. But anyway, I decided to paint her album cover, and I think it came out fairly well. It's very like sketchy, of course, but this is a sketchbook, so I don't care. And yeah, I think it emulated the picture that was provided, so I did that. Oh, this is nice. This is an abstract kind of magical piece. I was like, oh, what would happen if you fall into a magical door? And so I kind of made this character type. I love her face, and this is that. This is another art snacks piece. I love this one right here. I love it because I made her hair into a heart. I really, really much love that. And I like that I made a whole scene. Okay, February now, I attempted to paint a realistic portrait of Martin Luther King. This does not look like him. I know that. And so I tried again. Actually, this is Taylor Swift Endgame. I also like that album. Tried again. I tried with a different reference photo. Looks nothing like him. So these attempts were terrible, and I realized that, but I tried, and I did learn a lot from doing these. I did learn that I can't paint realistically well, and I continually tried to learn realistic painting throughout the rest of 2018, but I also learned that I was not very familiar with men's faces. It's easier for me to paint a female, and I do not know why that is. I don't know. So it gave me something to work towards. Also painting realistic skin tones, because this is very white. Sometimes I lean heavily into white and it's ridiculous. But anyway, there's that. Oh, here's one more, 4th attempt. Not bad. It's not great. It's what it is. Okay. Oh, this right here. Concept art. This is 3 ladies. They all have red hair, if you can identify them. There is one laying across this way. There is another one laying behind her, and one hanging off the edge. And this is on top of a roof building. I really like the color in here. I'm always for color, and so the fact that we have these color samples together, I really like it. I don't know that I would redo this sketch and do it with all red hair, or if I did have all red hair, it would be different blendings. But again, this was marked as a 10-minute sketch, so I'm very proud of the concept getting out in 10 minutes. I like to time myself to create art quickly, just because I just didn't have time, and I wanted to give myself, like, you don't have an excuse, you have 10 minutes, go. So there's that. This was the beginning of Blackbird. This I did during the football game because I did not want to sit through Super Bowl, but I was there at a party, so I brought my sketchbook and I made this piece. Basically, I was inspired by hoop skirt and football. So the cageness was supposed to represent like football, touchdown, lines in the grass. I don't know what the lines mean, you guys. I don't know, but there's that. So this eventually became this. Side by side, guys. Look at that. Look at that. As I've said, I've always loved fashion. I've always loved clothing. I'm really into like historical fiction, and I like Renaissance and stuff. And I just like that kind of era of clothing, but I also like high fashion today. I really love like painting clothing, expressing yourself through clothing. And I think I did a good job. So here are the original concept and the painting. So that's cool. Another quick sketch. I think I did this maybe around March. So there's that. I was practicing, trying to practice positioning and figurative drawing and getting like proportions right. These 2 ladies, they were done in gouache. They were done in a 20-minute sketch challenge. They're not my best. We'll quickly move on. And this sketch, this is the original sketch for a piece that I still haven't finished. It's been years. And when was this done? Somewhere in the beginning of 2018, and it's 2020, and I have not finished the large-scale painting. What happened is I was painting this, loved it. I was like, I want this to be a painting. It's a concept of a ladies' night. That was the whole thing. I had just rewatched Waiting to Exhale for like the millionth time. I had hung out with my girls, and I was like, let's commemorate this with a painting, you guys. And this is what I came up with in the sketchbook, but I could not seem to recreate it with my actual painting. It just got overworked. I abandoned that painting. I came back to it, and it's still in process. Actually, I talked about it in a video back in February of this year, revisiting some of my abandoned paintings and trying to like recreate them. But this I still love. This is my favorite thing in the whole world, and I didn't realize that was in the sketchbook. This was in gouache. This was one of my Let's Make a Mess days. It's cool. It's weird. It's weird. I can say that I do like the hair and earrings, if you can see those close up. But we're gonna just skip that. Another art snacks where I was painting a magical lady, as is kind of what I do sometimes. This right here is not painted, but it is a concept for a painting. These were the color tones that I had envisioned with it, and it was these two ladies getting bad news, and this one with them almost falling over on a tree. I know it's a pencil sketch, so it's very light, you can't really see it, but you know, they were all getting bad news. Gosh, why was I painting such bad news, sadness, painful moments? Like, nothing happened in 2018. No one died. Like, I don't know why. We're not gonna impact that here. This is an art video, not therapy session. So we'll move on. But I do like the sketch. They were all in these kind of old world costumes, corseted. The colors, of course, were going to be these blue tones. So that's that. On this one side, I did a quick something or other. But on this side, my friend had went to Paris, and she sent me pictures of like Paris, of course, because I've always wanted to go there, and maybe we'll be able to travel next year and I can finally go, as I've been planning for years, but maybe not, because, you know, coronavirus. So anyway, she sent me pictures of, like, of course, the monuments and that sort of thing, but she also sent me some pictures that were really sad. There was a lot of homelessness in Paris that I didn't expect to see. It was sad to see, and it was interesting, and out of all the pictures she sent me for references, it was the only one I came back to, because one, apparently I was sketching a lot of sad things, but just the positioning of them, it just seemed, and down here there's a courtyard and buildings and stores and trees and stuff, but this is this, and so I don't know. I think I captured, even in a colorful way, kind of this isolation and sadness there, and I wonder what I could do with that as a painting. This has given me a lot of ideas to go back and paint, and I think that's what a sketchbook is for. So, Mermaid. Let's move on to this. Mermaid. I'd never ever done something like this, and I was very proud of it. Underwater girl with her little bubbles. And I made them kind of magical bubbles. She's playing with the bubbles. I love her outfit. I love her hair. Her hair rocks. I wish I could have that as my hairstyle, but there's that. And then this magic lady breaking glass, shattering picture frames, and walking out. I've always had this kind of love-hate relationship with picture frames. It's a whole thing, and I don't want to get into it. Oh, it sounds so dramatic, but it really is. And I wanted to paint a series of paintings about picture frames, and I never got that started. This is starting to become a video about concepts I never finished. But anyway, that was an idea about these sketch picture frames, and the meaning behind it, right? But this was like the anti-picture frame. Like, you know, that one was about reflectiveness and a home environment, and, you know, the crooked frame in this perfectly otherwise home, and that was going to be more about painting locations and painting homes and wallpaper and seeing the wallpaper peeling and that kind of thing. It was more about the objects in a home that surround you that you think are perfect, but they're kind of ill-perfect. They're not perfect. They're crooked. They're dusty. The wallpaper is peeling. The home is falling apart, but you think it's perfect. And it was a whole thing, right? I'm an Aquarius. I like to come up with concepts, you know? But this would have been the polar opposite. This was violent. This was, I'm stepping through, crushing the walls, crushing your ceilings, a lot of girl empowerment. I'm doing it in my booty shorts because I can, you know? Let's unpack that as well at a later time. This is a painting I started and never finished, but sad girl in a dress, because I love dresses. I actually don't wear a lot of dresses, So it's funny that I paint girls in dresses because I don't actually wear them myself. But there's this. This, I really love the initial concept. A lot of the stuff that's in my sketchbook, I absolutely adore. But trying to recreate it and put it on my canvas makes it not work for me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if the original emotion is not there. I don't know if the original feelings and concept is just no longer in my head, and so I can no longer work on it because I've already gotten it out and an acceptable way to me. A lot of times I wish that I skipped the sketchbook and I just went to the canvas, because now I don't have this finish, but it is finished because it's in my sketchbook. So like, what do you do with that, guys? I don't know. I really like this. She was supposed to be a follow-up to my favorite painting, Just a Moment, that I'll put right here as well. Another Girl Lost in the Woods. God, you would think like I'm the most depressed thing. I swear I'm happy, but like the paintings are not. So Just a Moment was this painting, and it was the first painting I was really recognized for. It's still being showed in the gallery, although the gallery is not open yet. They did send emails to everyone, you know, letting them know they wanted to keep everything as is, and when they do open, or they're going to do virtual things, they, you know, so it's still on display, even though it's not on display because nothing is open right now because COVID. But it was supposed to be the follow-up to that. Another forest piece, the rushing water and her really hiding behind this tree right now. It really was supposed to be like this whole thing to complement those two pictures together, and well, this is it. I did something cool with like the trees, and Just a Moment, you can see here that the trees are, the leaves are dots, but here they're kind of squared, and I really like adding like that little geometric element to this. So there's that. This is a study I did in just Payne's Gray. There's nothing else here. This is all done in Payne's Gray with, you know, various additions of white. I love Payne's Gray as a color. I typically use it to create shadows, to gray down other colors, but I've never used it and experienced it on its own. I buy the golden acrylic Payne's Gray. I absolutely love the tone of that. I repurchase it every couple of months because it is a favorite color of mine to use, and it's such a blue gray, you know. And as I just mentioned before, I was attempting to really stop leaning so much on color. I lean on color so much to impact something, and so I wanted to work in my sketchbook and really see, you know, what I could do with an absence of color. And so I picked this one tube. I'm like, hey, you can use white. That's it. That's it. You can use nothing else to overthrow this. Let's move on. Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay, this is a murder scene. I swear no one was harmed in the making of this sketchbook page, but like also someone's drowning or something. Maybe sharks? I don't remember why I decided to paint. Like, look at this chick. She all in some neon bikini, and then something's happening over there. It makes this very bright painting very dark. And you know what? I just need to admit that sometimes I go real dark, I guess, because I remember that there's another painting in here or sketch that's a little graphic, and I'm gonna put up warners before it, but I'm just like, what was going on in 2017? Is something that I painted. It was one of my mess ones. I had done swatches for some new colors that I had purchased, and then I overlaid that with some gesso and put this girl in the middle of it, and I think it looks fun. I like the hair and the cape, and I don't know. The next painting, sketchbook, it's really just a sketch, honestly. It's going to be graphic. Here's a warning. Skip away if you just don't want to see this. It's not overly graphic, but it was playing on a theme that you'll see throughout the next couple of books. The concept was on this being put on display as a female, specifically feeling like you don't have a voice for something, and feeling very vulnerable when you speak out or scream out or whatever. And throughout 2017 and 2018, in various sketchbooks, I play with the concept in a lot of different ways. This is just the first iteration of it, but I never painted it, and mostly because I didn't know how to finalize the concept. This is this. So, girl chained and on display. These are platforms. There are headlights staring at her, so she's on display. She's literally screaming, and it doesn't really do anything. Next to her, girl under a spotlight, chained, that sort of thing. And at some point, just give it up. A girl handcuffed, a girl, don't mind the butts, I can't draw proportions, but you know, chained. That was the whole thing. These ladies are on display and they are chained. But this was the original concept. Okay, let's switch completely left. This was a weird Goldilocks high fashion situation. So like the bear's at home and she's sneaking away in her fancy dress. I did this with a pencil sketch. I just thought the concept was cool. Goldilocks was like Goldilocks was legit just sneaking away like this was the next day after a Tinder date or something. It's funny. So I don't know. This is a gouache thing that I did that I don't really like. It's not really finished. It was just I needed to paint. You can tell here that I began to struggle like making art. And it was right at, this has to be at the end of 2018 or middle, at least by the summertime of 2018. And I wasn't painting very much at all. And by just a few months later, I wouldn't be painting, period. I would spend the next year not painting at all. So these next ones are not really going to be anything. This, again, I mentioned that my cousins and nephews and little kids were all over and they were painting their own things in the sketchbooks. Here are some swatches. And I tried to do a little pencil sketch, didn't work. And nephews. So, was started in 2017. It ended midway through 2018, I'm guessing. I can tell that by the end of it, I just wasn't really just painting a lot, especially with that last gouache piece. I remember that happening and I'm just like, But I also have so many great pieces in here and I forgot about them. That's the thing, I forgot about them because I abandoned this sketchbook. And I really want to diligently keep a sketchbook. I really want sketchbooks to kind of like be a part of my art journey again. And I'm thinking about starting a new one. But I think it was really beneficial for me to go back and really analyze this sketchbook and the other two that I will be analyzing for you in just a moment. And thinking about the concepts I practiced way back then that I don't practice now, and I want to do that. But also seeing concepts that I thought about back in 2017 and 2018, they still mean something to me. That's crazy. They still mean something to me. And so it makes me want to try to do something with them. Like the concept of the glass shattering frame girl. I would love to paint that now. And I wonder what my thoughts would be if I tried to do that sketch or that concept or what it would look like. I really want to try doing like a one color challenge and creating scenes with them. I really like some of the stuff in the first part of the book, the kind of sad girls on the roof. I would love to like give that some kind of meaning. Especially, I noticed that I included a lot of objects in the paintings. Typically, I paint forces or figurative people. I create scenes, but the scenes are not really focused on the objects surrounding the people. It's usually focused on the main character and building the scene for the character. The character that I create is usually always the main focus of the painting. There's always a girl in my paintings. There's always this focus on the hair or the eyes or the figure itself and what the figure is doing, and everything else just kind of plays in the background. Right here, perspective. Perspective. This is one of my favorite paintings I've ever done. I redid it trying, play around with some color sketches, and I'll just put it here so you can see it. But this, even though this figure is small and is surrounded by the valley is just a footnote to the girl looking out into the distance. Is called perspective because she's sitting there in the grass among flowers trying to get some perspective on herself. This piece right here, this piece is just the figure. A robin red, which is right here. This is a figure. Even this is just a figure. So I don't know. Also, really need to really unpack all the sadness that I like to paint. And maybe it's because I like to paint emotional things. And what's more emotional than someone's sadness? Or being in tune with your emotions and invoking something. And I think it's so much easier to invoke a relatable response from a sad imagery than it is a happy one. Honestly, who all are happy all the time and can relate that to something they see automatically? I don't know those people. I don't know, but and so thank you so much for watching this sketchbook tour of my abandoned sketchbook from 2017 to 2018. There are 2 more sketchbooks that we will get into and share those as well, and kind of analyze them in a similar format. And then maybe we will finish off with taking some of these concepts, taking some of these painting sketches, and maybe actualizing them. So that would be fun. But this was really beneficial, and I definitely recommend it. If you have an abandoned sketchbook you haven't seen in years, go through it, kind of see what you were thinking when you had it, and see what you still react to and still reach for and still gravitate towards, or just sit back and see some of the stuff you don't do anymore. Like, I no longer do this messy art anymore. I no longer do abstracts anymore. And I really don't pay attention much to acrylic inks, but they were here and I really liked what I did with them. So a lot of pieces to kind of revisit, a lot of inspiration is in this one notebook, and I still have 2 more sketchbooks, so that's crazy. So anyway, my name is Marnise Nicole. I'm an acrylic painter. I am apparently focused on sad content and sad artwork, and emotionally invoking artwork. Snapshots of passion, love, sadness, and grief. Apparently, like, that's what this is showing me. So anyway, I am Marnise Nicole, and I am out. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.